Hey everybody! We are out here today getting our summer garden started. As I told you, we are hoping to put it back here where it is completely covered in London Rocket. We are going to trim a whole bunch of it down and then put together a sort of little plant prison for all of our plants for the summer season, because last year everything got destroyed by birds and ground squirrels.
We are going with a Three Sisters method of planting this summer, which is corn, squash, and beans. They all assist each other in growing and providing shade and nutrients for one another. On top of that, we plan on throwing in some chiltepins for some spiciness.
Don't worry, we will show you a sort of overhead of what we're going to do once everything is cleared out, so you can see what we're doing, and then we can all see together if it actually works out or not. So let's get started with clearing the yard. And here's what we're left with. There's that bench that was in the video before anything was growing here. We have an old brittle bush that came up through the winter and it has managed to survive. And 2 globe mallow plants, one of which I'm not sure if it'll make it, but we'll see. And that one over there. Now let's get the fencing in. We're doing the corn in the first step, and then once these get about 5 to 6 inches tall, we will plant these squash seeds, so that way they're not competing for sunshine and the corn will already be on its way to being established. Time for a cat detour. What are you doing? You want a flower? And then we're putting corn in between our mounds and corn over there in the corner. We didn't think we had quite enough space for another mound, and we had extra corn seeds. So we are going to fill out the corner with crons to see how they do and to make sure that we have enough so that they can actually germinate and produce. Next is going to be the sunflowers and the amaranth. So you can see we're using Native Seed Search and Baker Creek seeds. Shout out to them. We're going to put the amaranth in now because it will hopefully detract things from going after our corn. The ground has been dug down a little bit so that it's a bit of a basin to allow the water to collect in here if it rains, which hopefully it will at some point. Everything has been built up on a mound because that is the most common method for Three Sisters plantings, and especially out here. We used a mixture of worm castings and horse manure because it's our understanding that these plants will do better with that. I've heard mixed reviews about horse manure, but we're going to give it a shot and see how we like it because we have an abundance of it on property. And down here in the corner we're going to have some marigolds. And what else?
Mystery seeds.
Mystery seeds, because we have a lot of those. My grandmother loved to collect seeds and she never labeled them 9 times out of 10. So we're gonna put those out here as well because why not? We're hoping that the marigold will help detract pests. Alright, now that we're done putting the plant prison together, let's talk about how we built it and why we built it that way. As you can see, we're using pig fencing, and we're using that because we had an abundance of it on property, and I figured why not reuse what we already have. I used tulle as a means to cover up all sides of the pig fencing and the top of the pig fencing. We're using binder clips to attach it because they're way faster and easier to move around and reconfigure than stitching it by hand or tying it together with string or anything like that. We're using tulle instead of bird netting because I've actually had a lot of bad experiences with bird netting. I find it more difficult to get any type of plant materials out. I've had animals like snakes and such get caught in the bird netting and die, and honestly it's just not a thing that I prefer. We got the idea to use tulle from Greg Peterson, and I've so far enjoyed it because it does keep the birds out. It tends to keep most of insects or anything else out that you might not want in your plants, and it's a lot safer than using bird netting. Alright, that's it for now. We will update you guys when we actually have plants coming out of the ground and when we decide to move on to phase 2 where we can add in the squash. If you want to keep up with what we're doing and how the property changes, feel free to hit the subscribe button and click the little notification bell to know when we update. See you later.